Hello and welcome back to the Tyler's Tech Podcast, episode number 9.
Yep.
Like Mambo number 5, but with 4 extra dishes attached to it.
No one's going to know that reference, buddy.
They'll learn.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm joined by our usual host Tyler, and we got some catching up to do.
Yeah, we do. We tried to do this podcast once, but Discord. No, it weren't Discord, was it? It was OBS.
OBS.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to retread old ground that I don't even remember anyway. So it'll be new to everyone, including us, I think.
New to everybody.
There we go. So what have you been doing?
What have I been doing?
Yes.
The usual, man. The usual. Hopping the distros, as always.
So last time we spoke, he was on Kinoi, and what are you on now?
I'm actually back at Tumbleweed.
Really?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
I was on Kinewhite. I still like Kinewhite, but I ended up back on Tumbleweed, and I can't even remember what the logic was. I think it was because I tried Micro OS.
Yes.
I tried to set that up like I had it on Kinewhite, and I don't know what the difference is, but there's just some stuff that even in the GNOME one that's now at release candidate level, it's still kind of a bit like, there's some stuff versus how Silverblue and Kinoite are, and I don't know why.
Well,
there wasn't really anything I could like pinpoint. It was just like odd little things.
Well, I don't know, like comparatively, how much time and effort goes into that in compared to what Fedora does with Silverblue. Because when I first checked it out, there was a lot of holes that still needed filling. Are they at release candidate level then?
Yeah, so the GNOME version is now on quote unquote RC level.
Okay.
The KDE one is still in alpha, and I think that's because the guy that was originally developing it like stepped back or something, so I don't even know if they've currently got somebody that's working on it or not.
Right. Well, I like to. So did you say Tumbleweed, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be on a Tumbleweed.
Always Tumbleweed.
Always Tumbleweed.
Come on.
So, what have you got in mind? What have we missed that we tried to cover last time that I just completely flopped on?
We talked about. Oh God, I can't even remember what we talked about
so
now.
you got yourself in a
something like 2 weeks ago.
In a little twist about the codec thing, I do believe, on Fedora. Was it?
Oh yeah. It's not just Fedora, by the way. That's done it now. I have found that out since then. So OpenSUSE has done it as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it's about the H.264.
That's right.
Either encoding or decoding, one of those two, and AMD GPUs. I don't know if it's just AMD GPUs, but I know that they're mainly affected with the Mesa drivers. So the logic goes that Mesa got updated earlier this year with a flag in the compiler to remove some of the codecs at build time, which is okay. But now that's translated into, because some of those codecs are technically proprietary, now some of the distros like Fedora, for example, have decided that under advice from the legal teams at Red Hat and SUSE that they should remove the codec from their build of Mesa that they ship.
Right. So how quick was that sort of transition from not having it at all? When did that happen?
I'm pretty sure it was about maybe a week or so. It was pushed out in some updates.
Don't think that really affects you, though, would it?
Well, no, because I can't find this out for certain. Some places say that Flatpak versions of apps are unaffected because they ship with their own copy of Mesa. Other places are saying that they are affected because they've been rebuilt or something. So I don't actually know. if that's the case or not.
Right. Might be something worth reading into then, because I'd imagine I'd imagine the Flatpaks on Fedora would have been affected. But then
If
if they're all coming
they
from the same
came
source, it
from the
wouldn't matter,
Fedora
would it?
repo, yes.
Yeah, this is what I mean. But anything on FlatHub, perhaps not. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know is the thing.
I don't even think there's that much really hosted on the Fedora sort of Flatpak repo. Is there really? I remember
No.
because it's always a bit useless to me anyway. Sort of like Silverblue when
Mhm.
you don't have FlatHub enabled.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh, well, there you
But
go.
I haven't noticed any massive difference
Right.
for me. So, at, and I know it's just H.264 as well. So other codecs that you might get shipped are not affected. But yeah, it's not an ideal scenario, but it's one of those ones that it's kind of done before somebody tries to bite them in the ass, I guess.
Yeah. So has anyone
Which
else
is the
followed
state of the
suit, or
world
is
that we
it?
live in now.
Has anyone else followed suit, or is it just the RPM kind of not OpenSUSE and Fedora kind of things?
I don't know if Ubuntu would
I doubt it.
follow suit. I don't think so, and I think it's purely down to whether they're registered in the US or not as corporate entities.
I have actually no idea on that one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I know Red Hat obviously is registered in the US because they're a US company, so they have offices there. I know SUSE has offices over there and is
Well, I know
registered over there.
Ubuntu has offices in the UK, but
Yeah,
I'd
but whether
imagine
they're a registered entity over there or not, I don't know.
they are. If they operate in some fashion over there, they have to
Mm,
be, wouldn't they?
yeah, yeah.
No idea. Talking of the Ubuntu's, what ones have you tried since 22.10's release day?
Only stock.
Right. What did you
Only
think?
stock. It's an improvement, as most Ubuntu releases are,
What's new
in
in it?
fairness. They've got the new quick settings thing that they sort of semi-inherited from GNOME 43 anyway, but they've added a couple of their own tweaks
Right.
to it.
Yeah, that works.
There's something about the SquashFS compression is now enabled in the kernel to help with snap loading times or something.
Yeah, one thing I will
Um,
say, the Firefox is a snap right by default now. There's
yeah.
no because I'm running 22.10 right now, which has been a cause of a few headaches to be honest with you today.
Mhm.
And yeah, it is opening up quicker. I might not even uninstall it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've noticed that as well, that the snap loading time has been massively improved. The only issue I had was the Steam snap
Who
has
uses
now
Snap for
been
Steam?
has now been given access for things like removable drives and stuff. So obviously you can get
You'd
to
want to for
your
your game library on a sort of
yeah,
external. Yeah.
exactly. But it has access to the games. It has access to the folder. It can download the games to the folder. It can
Hmm.
install the games to the folder. It then cannot run the games from the folder for me.
Is that exclusively for you, or have you heard other people?
I have not managed to find any other reports for
Right.
it, but it's only the Snap variant.
I wouldn't
So
use
yeah,
Snap
if
for Steam
I
anyway.
if I leave the games installed and I get the normal deb file one and I install that and I set it up to use the same folder that the Snap version has used, it runs fine. So I
Right.
have absolutely no idea why the Snap, even though it's got access to those folders, cannot run.
So, so you installed Ubuntu and you used it for
Mhm.
how long?
A whole day,
A whole day, and you was like, no, I've had enough of this. Can't even
a
use
whole
my
day,
Steam
and then
right
I
now.
was like, "Nah, take me back to my Flatpak ecosystem type places with KDE, and I can live
But even with
happily.
Steam, just install it natively, to be honest.
Ah, yeah, but then if I use the Flatpak, then all the games are containerized as well, so it's a nice
Fair
way to
enough.
live, man.
So you've not tried any of the other flavors at all?
No, haven't looked at the other flavors, but I know Ubuntu Unity Edition is
Yeah,
now an official flavor.
I know. I was quite excited when
I
I heard about
don't
that.
know who asked for that.
Me, I asked for it.
You asked for
I
it.
think I might have even
It's your
publicly
fault.
asked for it as well. To be honest, for a while I was really pushing heavy, like the whole like bring Unity back thing. I'm not saying I'm
Yeah.
responsible, but I'm kind of no, I'm joking. It's not, but yeah, no, it's good.
You
Um,
alone have brought it
I'm wondering
back
how
into
many
the fold.
people are actually going to sort of daily drive it because I think, I mean, for ages, because obviously Unity was always still in the sort of Ubuntu repos anyway.
Hmm.
Back when they used to do the mini ISO, I don't think they do that anymore. I think they Ubuntu have
No, I
stopped
don't.
packaging the mini ISO, which kind of sucks actually. But I used to just download the mini ISO and then just install like a sort of Unity myself. But
Hmm.
having an actual official version of a flavor of Unity, I think is really cool. However,
Mm.
I'm not running it, so I did install it as soon as sort of I realised it was out. Someone said in the Discord that it was out, so I was like, right, let's jump on that. Scaling wise, not too good.
Yeah, no bueno.
Um, so you go into the sort of settings and stuff, and you can scale things like menu bars and elements of
Yeah,
just, but it didn't look right to me on my
but
4K
in
panel.
terms of actual scaling,
Yeah, no, it just wasn't the one, and I was really quite gutted as well. So like, yeah, I played around with it for a bit, and I was like, I really wish I could sort this scaling out. I probably can if I wanted to spend a bit of time on it, but maybe that's
hmm
something I'll do in the future. Like I say, I am running just standard Ubuntu right now, and it has been a bit of a nightmare actually.
hmm
But I don't know if that's to do with my crippled and dying GPU or not. Or it might have even been the sort of adventures we was doing with the virtual displays while we was trying to set this up. Because I was getting the old multiple title bar per window, like when you drag an application across the screen,
Yeah,
which was fun. I don't think it's doing it now. I daren't move anything though, just in case, so everything's
yeah.
staying where it is.
Let's see if we can get some fan art of somebody drawing your PC with like 50 something windows of
That's what it
OBS
looked like, to be honest.
16.
So I've done the sound check as well earlier. Opened up VLC, and then it was it was a scene, I tell you. And then I just had to hard reset with a power button because I just couldn't do anything. The whole screen was just
Oh,
populated with like not multiple windows, but multiple copies of the same like just mad artifacts everywhere.
yeah.
It wasn't fun, and I have just run
Oh,
into a few sort of bugginess with Ubuntu like that. But again, I'm not too sure if it's just this PC that's in desperate need of replacing or not. I think all I need to do is just.
yeah.
I think my motherboard's even shot now as well because I overclocked the CPU quite a bit, and it's just. I think I even snapped some during the move. I didn't when I moved everything from Brighton to here. I didn't take
Yeah.
care of packaging or anything, and I think there's just it's dead basically. I need to buy some new
It's a
hardware.
zombie PC at the
I
minute.
really like my case though, so I'm going to keep the case. I bought
Yeah.
it's a big chunky boy, and obviously I'll keep my computer in there. I've drilled some holes for
Yeah.
fans and ventilation, so I don't hear the noise. So I think when the channel's back in full effect, we'll do a little video of sorting a new PC out and matching it with a good distro and things. But for now, we're running on a sort of Frankenstein, half alive, half dead desktop.
Hmm. If anybody wants to sponsor the podcast by donating a computer to Tyler.
Yeah, imagine Tyler's been AWOL for the past 5 months. First thing he does is come back and ask for a new. Imagine that, the cheek of it. Yeah, no, we'll be doing that. So yeah, tried Unity. You don't seem to think that it needs an official flavour though.
I mean, I'm just wondering we're going with the official flavors now. I'm like, there's just so many.
There is.
There's an official flavor for everything now. Like, there's gonna be like an official like Fedora variant of Ubuntu at this point.
To be honest, I think there's a few that we could do with drop-in. To be honest,
I think there's now some questionable overlap between the Budgie flavor and the Unity flavor.
I wouldn't want to see either of them drop though. To be honest, the two desktop
Yeah,
environments I really like. I had a little
yeah,
thought a little while ago. 'Cause obviously, Ubuntu Studio switched over to KDE from XFCE, a couple of releases ago. And
yeah.
I'm wondering, they've got a Ubuntu anyway. Could they not just have like a easy install script, just something where if you want,
Ubuntu Studio Edition.
yeah, just that would be one way of dropping. Because I don't know actually, because I do actually find Ubuntu Studio quite useful. I have a USB with it just in case I ever just need to quickly nuke and just record something real quick. It's got everything there. You don't have to mess around.
Yeah.
But I do think there is perhaps some slimming down that can be done with the amount of flavors that do kind of coalesce and offer the same thing. Yeah, I think
Mm,
for a flavor to have an official flavor, it should be sort of, uniquely different and offer something that the other flavors don't.
yeah.
And I can see why you might say Unity Budgie, but nothing. There isn't ever. There's just never been a desktop, in my opinion, a DE that actually mirrors Unity perfectly. Anyway, just
Mhm,
with the
mhm,
inbuilt hard and the command, it's from a sort of
mhm, mhm,
workflow usability point of view, it's still up there for me as just one of the best desktop environments of all time. I'm saying it,
mhm.
but there we go.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of flavors,
Go on.
how do you feel about vanilla flavoring?
Yeah, we spoke about that. I'm actually looking forward to trying this out. I was going to try out the Vanilla OS sort of pre-beta. It's in beta now, isn't it?
It's
Or,
in beta open access,
yeah,
I think.
I think you have to request. I don't know anyway. I was going
You
to
have to join their Discord server.
right. Is that I was going to just go like chuck me the ISO and I'll do a little sort of run through on the channel.
Yeah.
But then
Well,
I'm like,
according to their roadmap,
it's coming out this month, isn't it?
it's estimated release candidate for November.
Yeah. So I'm just going to hold off for that because that's one that I do want to do a whole sort of daily driver test on because I love immutable distros.
Mm.
Using Ubuntu for a base of that is interesting, although it has been kind of done before. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
but what do you think of it from
There's
what
two
you've
things
read?
that very much interest me about it to start with, and it's not the fact that it's Ubuntu based, it's not the fact that it uses GNOME or that they've got a
Is it
nice
the
website that's got one
on-demand?
of those like made with heart things at the bottom. The two things that are very interesting to me are A, the way that they're doing immutability with it,
Yeah,
in so much as it seems like you can pretty much turn it on and off at demand.
yeah, kind of. It's kind of like dynamic in or adaptive, whatever words you want to sort of
Yeah,
use for it. Yeah,
yeah. And I know that you got your immutable distros, and sometimes you can still edit configs in certain directories, and then all you've got to do is reboot them and stuff. But I don't know if this would be like an on-the-fly thing where you wouldn't have to necessarily reboot. You could just turn the immutability off,
yeah.
do the thing, and then turn it back on.
I think it's something I need to actually use in practice because I've read a few things about people that have played around with the sort of pre-release stuff.
Yeah,
But it is something you need to experience yourself just to see how it is all done. But
yeah.
it does look very appealing, and the people behind it, like the devs, who are
hmm
they? I remember seeing. Oh, it's this guy. I've completely drawn a blank of who it
I
is now.
think Lucas de Mayo is one of them,
Right? Yeah.
and his name rang a bell for me, and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And the other guy, who's the other guy?
Yeah. You
Sorry,
might
other guy
put it
that
up.
we don't know your name off the top of my head. Mirko Brombin?
Right.
If I've
Um,
butchered that, I'm sorry.
there's a distinct project that one of them did, as well as that. Well, you obviously I'm completely drawing a
Okay.
blank though, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's from a reputable people that know what they're doing is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But
I'll tell you the other thing that's interesting to
Go
me.
on.
The the choice of at the first start which packaging format you use.
Yeah, I was super happy about that actually.
Yeah,
I might
that was cool.
go out on a limb here and say I'd probably try it with app images, but I'm a bit of an app image
Mhm.
stan, so there we go. But I think
Yeah.
for an immutable system, I do think app images do it really well. I know long ago when Nitrux was actually a immutable operating system. This is long, long ago. It was a good
Hmm.
approach to doing it. I think this is going to be a lot more polished than what that was. When I don't know if anyone even remembers when it was immutable,
Mm.
but I also there's a lot about it. Even the inclusion of distro box out of the box, I think is really cool as well. I really like playing around with distro box, to be honest.
Hmm. Hmm.
There's a lot you can do with
Yeah.
that. And then what else is it? It's got something else with it, isn't it? Something to do. How is it managing packages?
It's got its own package manager called Apex.
That's it.
Um,
I don't think it's their own, is
and
it?
yeah. Uh, maybe it's not their own.
Right.
I don't know. I read like it was their own, but maybe not.
From everything you've seen and read from it so far, if the sort of dream was a reality and everything that it sort of promises to do is sort of easy and fluid as it is going to aim to do, would you
Mm.
consider using something like that on a daily basis? Because I know you're a bit 50-50 about immutable stuff anyway, but if it is sort of like
Mm.
fully on demand, would that sway you into being like, see you later, little gecko guys, I'm going over here.
Mm. I'd be interested in trying it.
Right.
I think there's maybe a couple of things that I would want some more clarification over
Which are?
to see. The first one being is how they're actually handling the rollbacks and stuff, because I think they're just using ButterFS at the minute for an install.
Okay.
So I can kind of get that, and I can see they're not using OS tree.
Yeah, and they've got a big section of why they don't use it, and that's another thing that I'm actually quite
Mm.
intrigued about because I like when things are done differently, and obviously OS tree has always kind of just been like the sort of default that people go to in these kind of
Mm.
setups. So I do think it's a good approach to try and switch it up a bit, but it all
Yeah,
depends on the
because this was
execution of
something
it.
that I found out the other day about the difference between Keynote and Silverblue and MicroOS. So MicroOS does all of its stuff with snapshotting, rollbacking, integrity checking, read-only-ish
It's
stuff
not
with
as the whole implementation is not as smooth as
no, but it just does it with ButterFS,
hmm,
from my understanding.
I'd have to look into that a bit more. It's been a while since I've used
Mm.
Micro, but if it was implemented similar to that, I don't know.
Mm,
It all depends on the execution of it, I guess.
yeah. The the other thing that I maybe want a little bit more clarification on, and it's worded particularly vaguely on their web page.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, if the dev ends up listening to this or whatever, then, maybe reword it. But the way I'm reading it is that
Then you should
the
reword
very
that
first
sentence.
thing, yeah, the very first thing on the top of the web page for when you scroll down about what is Vanilla OS, and it says it's nicely updated.
And it's not chocolate OS.
And it's not Chocolate
Yeah.
OS, and it's not Super Gamer.
Mint choc chip might be
But
alright though.
yeah, so their sentence is Vanilla OS is an Ubuntu Linux based point release distribution that receives updates at the right time,
Not before or
neither
after or
before nor
yeah.
after, without sacrificing security and functionality. Okay, who decides that? And how is it decided?
I don't know. You're scrutinizing the words too much there, buddy boy. I think you gotta have
I don't
faith.
think I am, because how do you decide when is the right time to update a package?
Um, Fedora kind of does. Well, not packages per se, but even just releases. They won't just release. They don't stick to their schedule as heavy as other do. Like they'll wait. They'll wait to see if, well, actually, because they've delayed the 37, haven't they? And that's
Yeah,
that's not setting a precedent. They've done this a lot. And then there's another
yeah,
distro that has a similar kind of thing that will be like, look, it's ready when it's ready. What one am I thinking of?
elementary a little bit.
Yeah. EOS used to do that as well, although I don't really know what's happened with EOS since the whole fallout of that stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't hate that, to be honest with you. I guess it's different with
I
individual
I don't hate
packages.
it. I just want to know how the decision's made.
Um, stability, one would hope.
Yeah, and then how far down that rabbit hole do we go with it? Do we say it's like
Manjaro kind of
the
does it a little bit. Obviously, Manjaro's a little bit behind on, just sort of upstream Arch stuff. They will often hold things here and there until things are actually
honestly,
sorted.
can we even use Manjaro and stability in the same sentence?
I haven't used Manjaro for a very long time, actually. Um, um, wouldn't,
So I
by,
can see it from both things, and I guess it ends up floating in between the whole thing about fixed point releases and rolling releases, isn't it? And this is why you've known for a while that I like Tumbleweed for this reason, because it takes a stable one, it runs it through OpenQA, it says unless there's
yeah.
anything major gets pushed out.
I think, holding a package update isn't the worst thing ever,
Hmm.
as long as the decisions of why they're doing it make sense. If they're just,
Hmm.
like, I don't know, why wouldn't they? Perhaps it breaks something of theirs, or
Hmm.
I don't know. As long as things are getting, security fixes in and quick when they need them, I'm not too annoyed with maintainers or whoever deciding when to push an update.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean it's fine. Like it's not an annoyance to me. It's just like I've kind of just want a little bit of clarification of what exactly that means.
I think it means kind of what I've said. It's ready when it's ready. Obviously,
Mm,
it's harder to boil that down to individual package updates compared to a whole sort of distro. But
yeah.
I don't hate the idea. Even if you look at distributions like Chaos, KAOS, they're very selective
Hmm.
about what even goes into their repository to begin with. Um, and I see that in a similar sort of way.
Mm,
Don't always need to introduce too many different flavors to the mix. We're not Ubuntu. Do you know what I mean? So you don't want to.
hmm.
There are genuine reasons to be a bit more cautious, I think, with the
Mm,
updates and pushing them out, and even just even package selection and what's on sort of the repos. But I imagine being Ubuntu based, you're not going to have to worry about that too much, especially when you consider the sort of multi-packaging format options that you're going to be having
mm,
with that kind of distribution anyway.
mm,
So I don't think you need to worry about that too much, personally.
hmm.
Um, if it wasn't the distribution that it sounds like it's going to be, and with the sort of choices and options that a user actually has, then maybe it'd be a bit different. But if you're using, flat packs or app images, or is the other option Snap?
Uh, and I think that well, they've got a picture of the Debian archive
Yeah.
icon,
Okay.
so I
So
assume that's your other. It's basically whatever you want.
yeah, so I think yeah, I don't know. I don't. It is quite ambiguous language. I get it, but it's still really new, to be honest, as well.
Mm,
Hasn't even had its an actual stable release, so I'm not
yeah.
too worried about that.
Vanilla is too vanilla.
Sometimes you just want a bit of vanilla, though. Sometimes you don't want to destroy your palate with these fruity, bizarre
You
flavors. You
don't
just you
you,
just want.
you don't want your rum and raisin on top of your
I
vanilla.
hate rum and raisin ice cream. Terrible
Then.
idea.
Actually.
Yeah, it's so bad. And I like rum and I like raisins.
Just
But,
not together.
well, no, you might even be able to do an individual rum and a raisin, like the actual things, but the flavour of rum and raisin ice cream and chocolates suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else
I'm
have
just
you
gonna
got?
wait for somebody to like fork it or like take the concept across to like Fedora or OpenSUSE and just call it like rum and raisin now, just to spite you.
Well, every other distro's kind of got its own sort of immutable counterpart if you think about it. Ubuntu hasn't got a big, well-known one. So if vanilla was to become,
Mm.
imagine vanilla becomes an official flavor. A flavor-based distro comes an official flavor of the distro with too many flavors. There we go.
Wouldn't they have to like rebrand
I
it though?
don't know. What would you call it?
Have to be like Ubuntu like immutable edition or something, wouldn't it? It'd just be boring.
UID.
UID,
There you
user
go.
ID.
You like it,
Yeah.
yeah? There you go. Come up with that
No,
just on the spot. Right.
no.
What else is?
Canonical, please don't give me a job.
Give me a job.
Give me a job.
Give
So
me.
you can buy a new PC that actually might run Ubuntu properly.
Yeah, man. You know how it is. You know, Christmas coming up. I can't just start splashing straight away. You gotta take it easy. You know. What else? What else has there been?
We talked about Rolling Rhino a little bit, but then I guess that's going to touch on some
Oh, I
of the
wonder
same
if
stuff as.
the new ISO ever got released. I didn't check up on that. I think
Let's have a look.
yeah, you have a look at that, and then also there was the going back to the Ubuntu 20.10s. Mate, of course, is a bit lackluster in the new features this release because of the work that Martin has been doing, bringing it over to Debian,
Yeah,
which I think is actually pretty cool. What do you
it
think?
doesn't look like mirror. Doesn't look like ISOs have been updated yet because the ISOs dated the 1st of September.
Yeah, on their blog, they had a post. So if it's before then no, they haven't released a new one.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what do you think of the sort of Ubuntu Mate experience on Debian? What do you think?
Uh, I said this to you before, didn't we, when we recorded it the first time? I was like, isn't that just sort of making it kind of Linux Mint Debian edition-y a little
No,
bit?
I don't think so. I think it's a good idea for a start, just because of how sort of married the two ecosystems are anyway, and it will just
Mm,
make things a lot easier going forward. And I think if they are like for like similar, I know in the sort of the release notes for Mate 22.10 said that it's
hmm
going to be like almost exactly the same or the same, paraphrasing, of course. Then I would probably
hmm
opt to use the Debian version over the Ubuntu version, personally.
mm
There are benefits to just Debian, even just the whole install process. I prefer to the Ubuntu process. Even if you've got multiple drives and you want to sort of just get straight into an installer and set up your raids and your whatever else, Debian makes that a
hmm
whole lot easier than anything else in sort of the
mm
Debian based world, to be honest.
hmm
But then I haven't used Debian in ages as well. So this long extended break, I don't even know what's happened with Debian. I know there were some changes to the non-free stuff and sort of ISO. I don't know how it's all going at the moment, so that's going to be an interesting thing to jump into at some point as well.
Yeah, because what
Um,
was it? They voted to include the non-free stuff in
yeah,
the normal ISO.
I imagine it's going to be check this box to have this stuff, or don't check
Yeah,
this box, something
like
like
in
that.
the Ubuntu installer.
It'll probably be opt in, I'd imagine.
Mm,
Um, I'd imagine that's the way they do it.
yeah,
New releases. What else? Zorin got a new release. I got an email from them actually. Just poor time, and I was going to check it out, but I probably will still check it out. I
yeah.
don't know if I'll do it on the channel though. But have you checked out? Is it 16.2?
Well, for Zorin,
Yeah.
do you know what? I actually don't follow Zorin all that much.
Why? What's your beef?
I don't have really any beef other than every single time I hear their distro named, it makes me think of that James Bond film with what's his name in it? Christopher Walken.
I like Christopher Walken. James Bond, I think, is
Yeah,
super overrated. But carry on.
yeah, and it's in. I can't even remember which one it is, but it's the guy's Christopher Walken plays the baddie in it called Max Zorin.
Right. Okay.
Maxi Zorin, and he's got a great big blimp, and he's trying to like flood Silicon Valley or something.
He's a top drawer actor.
Yeah,
Obviously
and
not.
it's
He plays the same sort of role though most times. To be honest, these days,
yeah,
it
yeah.
cracks me up though.
Look, there it is. Every time, man. Every time somebody says Zorin OS to me, it just makes me think of this because the guy was in the computer industry.
Oh, okay.
Every time.
Well, there we go.
I have seen a couple of people that are using like they've mentioned they're using Zorin in the like Mint server.
I mean, it's a good distro. I think for newcomers coming over from Windows, to be honest, I think it's probably up there with the first sort of distros I'd recommend.
Yeah. How would you rate it over, say, Linux Mint?
In what department?
In just generally. So say you've got complete potato who is like,
what would I personally choose?
Yeah, like sick of Windows and is like, I want something that works. And
I've
say
never
they're both
used...
based on the same Ubuntu release.
Right. And I've never used either of them before. I'm just looking at the website, or what?
Or they've never used it before. Yeah.
Because if you're just looking at the website, Mint's website, it's kind of trash. So I'd go for Zorin.
Even with the refresh.
Has it had a refresh?
Yeah, it had a refresh.
Oh, okay, I'll take it back. Maybe
Just the Mint Discord got included.
Oh right, okay.
Officially.
I'll check it out off camera. Okay, I feel quite bad now saying it was a trash website. Okay, I'll edit that bit out. I won't really, but I'll mentally edit it out. If anyone, there's a comment that goes, "Can't believe you said," I'll be like, "What are you talking about? I never said that." Yeah, no. So I'm recommending it to this new user. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, let's say you're installing it on their computer.
And they've only ever used Windows.
And they've only ever used Windows.
Probably Zorin, to be honest. Zorin has better out-of-the-box support for even just getting your EXEs running and things like that. Polish-wise, it just looks nicer out of the box. It will have more things included that will make more sense to someone who's coming over from Windows. Things will be positioned in similar places to what they'd expect them to. Yeah, although Cinnamon isn't a bad choice if you're an ex-Windows guy. I'm trying to think of the application names they use. Do they have normal names for like applications? Like is files and things like that? I can't remember.
I can't remember either, I think like the file managers are called something.
Because I often like
laugh
at some of the names that we use for some of the applications that we do. And not going through the effort of changing things a little bit in menus and application launchers just to make things. You just
need to stick a K in front of all of them.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, Kmail, Ktorrent, K something, and then you've got about a million different text editors, and Kwrite, Kate, and all this. I do think names of applications need to be. I mean, you can keep your little quirky names, but I think for a new user opening up an application launch, you're going, "Oh, I want to do this thing," and then they try and find something, and they find it's called like Kate version,
which I think is kind of the direction that GNOME ultimately went in, really, wasn't it? It was.
I don't think it's a bad idea though. To be honest with you, I think Nautilus being just called files in an application, it just makes sense. What else is there? I mean, they've done it with most things, haven't they? What's Eye of GNOME called? as an application.
It's just like imagery or
Yeah,
something, isn't
that's
it?
how it should be, though. Like I say, keep the package names and whatever else, but when you're opening a distro for the first time, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know where you are.
Mm.
You want these things to be a bit more simple.
How do I get to my taxes?
Exactly. Can you imagine some line art just trying to open up like oh god, it would be something like a photo library. She's like, I want to see photos of my grandkids or whatever, and she's like, I
Yeah,
am Marty. What's this? I've got no mates, and
yeah,
they've all not got eyes. What?
yeah.
It's not the one. But I think for the most part now, most applications have normal titles, don't they? I think
For the most
I
part,
think KDE is the worst offender actually.
yeah.
I think
Because
it
like
is. Yeah.
like example, the screenshot tool. Like,
Oh,
okay, I can open the menu.
Spectacle.
I can start typing screenshot, and it comes up. It's called Spectacle,
Yeah, spectacle. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
like, okay, if I do start typing screenshot, admittedly, it comes up because its description is screenshot capture utility. But like, you're not gonna know off the top of your head that Spectacle is for taking screenshots.
No, there's a lot of applications like that though. But I think, like I said, for the most part, I think that has now been ironed out. Wasn't actually that brings me back to the whole Linus tries Linux thing. Didn't he have an issue with actually a text editor on KDE? Wasn't it? He was
Was
like,
it?
can't find a text editor, and it was like Kate or K write or something. I think that literally happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there was an issue with that. I think that's probably better now though.
Hmm.
Yeah. So what else is on the Linux? Has there been any interesting developments in just the community as a whole? Is there any turmoil, any friction? Nothing.
Not that I know about.
No, no one's
No.
no one's upset with someone.
Not again, not that I know about.
I've been gone for 5 months, and it's
I'm sure uh, all of that will have now been expunged from Twitter with the new Lord and Savior, quote
oh god,
unquote.
let's touch on that very quickly. Would you think?
Well, with him taking it over.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, big meme that he apparently printed out the source code and gave it to the Tesla engineers to look at. Don't
Do you
know
know
why he
what?
printed it out and wasted all of that paper when he wants to save the
On
planet
actual
with
paper.
his Teslas, but
He didn't do
yeah,
that, did he?
apparently he printed it out.
I don't know
So
if I like
yeah,
it or think it's a bit silly.
big meme. He's now like the sole director.
Well, has he made it private yet? I think that was one of his plans, wasn't it? Because it's a publicly
Uh,
traded company, isn't it? Or it was.
is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can buy like
Yeah.
shares of Twitter or whatever.
Yeah. Well, he did just buy the place, so whether he's gonna buy all of the shares back, I don't
Well, I know the
know.
whole big memification of when he first started doing it. It was like, I'm going to buy it and make it private. I swear that was his idea.
Yeah.
But in a simple
Um.
yay or nay, where'd you fall?
Nay for this
Really?
one.
I'm kind of for it, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. I'm on a nay with this one. I would
He's
have
only going to use Twitter.
rather some other absolute mad lad had bought it instead.
Who though? Who would you rather? If it's going to be sold to some of these tech guys, who would you have chosen?
Specifically a tech guy or like just anybody?
Well, not like Sandra from down the road, is it? She ain't going to be buying.
Well, Sandra from down the road could probably give them a thing or two to
No,
work
she
on.
can't. She's only just figured out how to switch her kettle on. Don't give Sandra that much credit.
Yeah. She's just installed Zorin OS on her PC.
Her fridge is talking to her. She doesn't know what to do. Don't
Yeah.
talk to Sandra.
Yeah.
No, I don't hate it, to be honest. I don't use Twitter in the ways that most people use Twitter. It's
Yeah.
literally just.
Do you know
something
who
to
I
do.
would have wanted to see use to buy Twitter and run it?
Go on.
I'll tell you who.
Well, I'm waiting.
Complete curveball here.
Go on.
You're on the edge of your seat, right?
That Zorin man you were just talking about was
No,
Christopher
no, no, no,
Walken, isn't
no,
it?
no. Christopher Walken would be a good choice, but no, that's not who I'm thinking of.
Go on.
I want to get his name right, so I'm gonna have to double check.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
You're on the edge of your seat.
No,
It's
I'm actually
from
not. I'm
years
gonna
ago. It'll be an absolute blast from the past.
blast from the past. I hate the way you
It will
usually
be.
say
It will
words.
be. You'll not expect this in a
Go on
million
then.
years.
Go on then.
MySpace Tom.
I mean, it wasn't the biggest curveball ever. He's actually living some sort of dream, though, isn't he? He's like a little traveller man who takes photos of nature or something or things. Because he sold
I don't know,
MySpace for a
but
fair amount of
I
money.
think he should have taken it over.
Well, so people can have their top 8 on Twitter or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh dear. No, I don't hate it. Like I say, I don't use Twitter. I'm not one of these people that reads a Twitter. They call it, is it a tweet? I don't read a tweet and get all up in my feelings and rage about it. I'll record a video and then I'll click the share button on Twitter, YouTube, and then share it to all of these social media things. And that's the interaction I have with social media, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah. It's basically an RSS feed for you.
Yeah, apart from my actual RSS feed, is my RSS feed.
Yeah.
God, I need to actually check my RSS feed. I opened it when I first decided that I need to start doing the videos again, but I haven't dismissed any of the notifications yet. I probably should have done it in preparation for this, actually, so I had something to talk about, but there we go.
Notifications are sitting there at like 999 plus.
Do you use do you have like an RSS feed that you curate and
No.
No, you probably should.
No. I don't.
Even for bloody subreddits that I just can't. I actually don't like Reddit, but I like to see what's sort of like trending on Reddit. So I'll have I'll
Yeah.
subscribe to some Reddits, but through my RSS, so I can just see.
I've got a Reddit app to follow like a couple of subreddits on it.
I used
I
to
don't
really like
participate.
Reddit.
I just read them.
It's gone really downhill, to be honest. Reddit.
Yeah. And then for like news and stuff, like I just have like two websites I go to, so it's
Go
kind
on
of
then.
like I don't really need an
Where are you?
RSS feed.
Where are you reading your news?
I can't tell you that, man.
You're a Daily Mail guy, aren't you?
No,
Don't lie to me.
no. Let's just say recently, the implication was that I should be eating tofu an awful lot,
Oh, you don't read
and we'll leave it
Guardian
at
or
that.
something, do you? Throw it in a bin, buddy.
Don't throw it in the bin. I read the website.
You're an indie Guardian guy, aren't you?
No, I don't read Indie.
Indie sucks, doesn't it?
Indie went too clickbait.
Didn't the Guardian also go a bit clickbait, or is it just their opinion pieces? I read someone there, and I was just sort of
I think
rolling
it's just their opinion pieces.
Right, okay.
The rest of the actual news is pretty good. The live news is pretty good.
Right.
I think anyway. We're probably going to get some absolute like nutter in the comments now, like you shouldn't be following the mainstream media. You should only be reading from clippy.news.org or something.
I'll be honest with you, I can't actually read things like Guardian, Mail, and all of that sort of stuff. I can't do it. I'd probably be with that fella on clippy.42962.com or whatever he's right. I'll be on there with him.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. No, that's why I use RSS. I just curate my own thing from sources that aren't like centralized. I won't use like a mainstream news outlet. I think I actually do have the Guardian RSS feed though. I think that is in my RSS feed. I don't read it though. I just go okay, and then I dismiss the notification.
You just laugh at the headlines.
Yeah. Like I say, I don't read any of the news in this country or abroad, to be honest with you. But I think we have strayed way off topic.
We're talking about RSS feeds. It's still on topic. It's fine.
You reckon? All right. Okay, I'll leave it. I'll let it run.
That's why people love the podcast, man. We just talk about.
You're gonna get, because I've said that both the Mail and Guardian and the Indie are all trash. So we're gonna get.
I mean, even like Microsoft Edge gives you like the fake news warning when you go to the Daily Mail's website. So
Does it?
Yeah, it gives you the warning.
For the meme though, I think if I had to sit down and actually read one of them out of the Guardian and the Mail,
just for a laugh.
I don't know where I'd go on that, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, I don't know.
In like a pure like, if you want to read it, it's so absurd it makes you laugh kind of thing.
Probably the Mail, to be honest, because I wouldn't be reading either for genuine news. That's...
Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear. Okay. Right. What else have I missed that we should probably cover before we sign out?
What have we missed?
Shall I just quickly load up clippy420.com and just see if there's anything
Yes,
that needs to come?
yes. Somebody now needs to make clippy420.com as an actual domain. That can be your new domain.
Don't. I still need to sort all of that out. I need to hit up
Yeah,
Apple actually and see if he's still up for doing that thing.
that can be it. Let's have a look, see if clippy420.com is
I mean, it probably will be.
server not found.
Really?
So
I might buy it and just redirect it to tylerstech.com or something.
to your website.
Oh dear. Has there been God? So have
Oh
we covered
dear.
all of the new releases that have come out recently? Is that mainly all
I
of them?
think so, pretty much.
So
Like
you've
we've
got the
covered the Ubuntu stuff. Fedora 37's not out yet because
delayed.
of
We've
some
covered that.
pending SSL vulnerability.
Oh, is that the actual reason why it was delayed?
Yeah, that was the main one. So the
Oh,
OpenSSL had a vulnerability identified that they rated as
sketchy.
critical,
Yeah, fair.
and
Can't blame them for.
I think it was the first one that they've rated critical since Heartbleed.
Oh, what version? What version was that?
Oh, that was ages ago. It was like 2014 or something, wasn't it?
Shit, I don't know. I weren't that big on
Yeah.
Fedora back in the day, to be honest.
Yeah. But either way, so that they knew that this was happening. They did a release or something, said a patch is coming, pending like whatever the disclosure thing was. And I
I
think
don't.
that was the main decision.
I think that's completely reasonable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that they've withheld it. But I know it caused a little bit of controversy in the meeting because they were kind of like, well, like even if it's vulnerable, like we just ship an update.
Yeah.
Which
Um.
I can understand from that point of view, but then it's like for the sake of like waiting like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd err on the side of caution and just wait, personally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's the thing, actually. On some things, they're really good, but on some things, they're a bit rubbish. So, obviously, when we first attempted to do the podcast, I was on Kinoite at the time, wasn't I?
Hmm.
And I remember when I did my video on it before I took my little break, and there was that little bug thing that was happening as well. I think it was UTC. Was it UTC or just
Yeah,
basically if you selected anything other than
time
like
zone thing.
America and the time zone thing, all of you just wouldn't have any of your apps there. And then I
Yeah.
thought, oh, let's install this. And then I remember when I was setting it up, I was like, oh, I don't need to change the time zone. I'll let it auto select. It'll be fine, right? So I
Hmm.
didn't even think of it. And then we loaded it up. And it's done it again, isn't it? And I'm like, as if they've left that in the final ISO. Fortunately, all I had to do was a RPM OS tree upgrade.
Mm.
But the fact that that's still there,
Yeah,
it's not very good.
yeah.
But
But
there
now
we
it
go.
doesn't even matter because like 37's.
Imagine it's still there
Like,
as well. No, obviously I'd
yeah,
have the update in there, so obviously it wouldn't be. But yeah, that was crazy to me. That
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
been five. I haven't been here for 5 months, so it's been at least 5 months.
At least,
That's crazy.
at
Right.
least 5 months.
Is there anything else you're dying to get out before we say our goodbyes?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're going to go and cry yourself into the pages of your Guardian when you get off?
Nah, I don't have the Guardian, man. I don't buy paper copies. The only thing I buy a paper copy of
Go on. Books.
is Private Eye magazine,
Uh, you're not an
and that's because they don't have a digital edition.
Do you read ebooks?
Yes, I have an e-reader.
Oh, no, you can't have an actual book. What are you reading at the moment?
No, see, I started with actual books, but I don't have anywhere to keep them
Are you reading anything at the moment?
on my e-reader.
in any medium, novel
on,
or otherwise.
on any medium.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got a book that I'm in the middle of, my e-reader,
fair. What is it?
that I really need to finish, but I'm just trying to find the time to actually finish it.
Okay. Oh,
Um,
has there been what's old RMS doing these days?
who's the Stallman?
Yeah, is he still alive and kicking? Is he?
Oh, I assume so.
Not many stories about him nowadays, isn't there?
No, but
No.
then I think he pretty much like keeps to himself and does the occasional talk at some unis and stuff.
Right.
I don't know.
It seems like loads has changed since I've been here, but then also nothing at all. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. I think we'll wrap it up then because I'm clutching at topics now. That I'm just like, what about this? What about the Guardian?
it's just a stream of consciousness.
Yeah. Right. It's been nice though. Hopefully when I'm scared to actually close this window to see make sure
Or
yeah.
to make
But
sure I don't sound like a train announcer.
exactly. Thanks for
Yeah.
watching, and I shall be back very shortly with some videos. I'm hoping that the first video back will actually be Vanilla OS, but it all depends on when it releases, because obviously I don't want to wait. Like, if it's the end of November, then obviously that's just no good. I'll have to think of something else. But it would be very cool if my first video back with a distro would be something new to me. Um, I just think it would be good. What have you got on your sort of future agenda?
Uh, Probably also Vanilla OS
Yeah, I think it's
whenever it
a good
comes out.
idea. Right.
Yeah. And if somebody happens to fix the Steam Snap that it can actually run games, then
I'm gonna
maybe
research this
that.
after I finish because I'm sure they wouldn't have left it like that. It must be able to play games.
No, I don't know what it is, but it's something about the fact that it's the Snap. So I don't know.
Right. Okay. Well, nice talking to you as always. Second time's the
As
charm.
always.
Hopefully. I think this.
Hmm.
Actually, I think this was actually a better run anyway. So I think it's worked out better.
Hmm. Hmm.
Nice one. Okay. Take it easy.
It's done good. See you later.